nice things about this job is you get to be attributed with the credit for other things that people have done and done so successfully. Last night was not exactly one of those nights, but today is. I've had a chance to speed read an awful lot of this, and as I said earlier on to you, Tony, and to President Jim Brown, it's a beautiful book. It's beautifully designed. That's my orientation. I tend to sort of navigate visually rather than literally, and I just like the way it's laid out, and it's the sort of thing you can dip into, and it seems to me you could nearly represent it, and in a sense you are, as a sort of a retrospective diary of 2012. Mm-hmm. What has happened? What were the issues? What were the stories? What were the incidents? What were the new departures? And you've caught it, it seems to me, in a very creative and highly accessible way. And to that, and all of your contributors and everybody's put it together, you really deserve, and I mean this very sincerely, heartfelt congratulations. The virtual, the original, the typical Martian arriving on Ireland, if they landed on this part of the globe, would be very well informed as to where we're going and what we're trying to do. And I acknowledge the presence in this room of very many people who are engaged in a voyage of change and reform, which you have all embraced with extraordinary enthusiasm. And I want to say thank you very much, because you are doing it with a hole being cut in your pocket as you do board the ship of discovery against the constraints. Mike Jennings has got into them in some detail in his piece. Others have described it. But lack of resources did not deter other people in different times to start a journey that's going to take at least 8 to 10 years to get it right. And as I've said elsewhere in relation to the reform of the junior cycle curriculum, it's much more important than we get it right than we get it on time, because what is on time? There's 1 month in the year in which the tide comes in for education, and that's in September. That's when we embark. And if you miss that tide, you have to wait a whole year. And I don't want to set off in a bad tide or in a ship that can't sail. And as I said in the clock tower some weeks back now in relation to the junior cycle, but my attitude would be the same for any other changes that we need to embrace. And I'm constantly reminded every time I open the TES magazine of the kind of casual chaos that's been thrown up in Britain by arbitrary interventions in the education system, which horrify me. And I'm wondering who's the real conservative around here. But the reform of the junior cycle is a part of a reform of the overall education system around which there's great consensus. It is an intensely political project, political with a small p and with a large P. But it is not a partisan project, and nor is it most certainly an electoral project. This is something whose cycle is going to require the time of at least 2 general elections. And my hope is that the ships, because there are more than one, that will be launched with the secure support of all those on board and those on the quay, will set sail with such confidence that irrespective of what happens down the road, those ships will not be recalled. And I'm quite confident so far that that's the way we are embarking on this journey. I want to thank, and there are many people here, I couldn't possibly begin to name them all, but I recognize you and salute you individually. You know, some of you more than others, that changes are necessary. You know that changes in these times are more difficult than they would otherwise be. But sometimes when there were more resources than sense, things got diverted. Things got diverted. We can do the sort of things that we need to do. And there's a hunger for it. I come across it in so many different ways. And this book captures an awful lot of it. You get a smell of it, you get a sense of it, you get windows, little lights shining on different things that need to happen. We're very fortunate in this country, and I'm particularly fortunate to have the job that I have at the moment, that there is this kind of the wonderful pressure and they're out there in the yard, the thing that drives us all, young voices demanding to be heard and demanding an education. Without them, our jobs will be declining, and long may that sound, an incessant and demanding sound, be heard, because it will drive this and drive us to provide what they need and which we have to provide. So thank you very much, Tony, and congratulations to you and all your contributors.
very much, Minister, for taking time to visit.